All right.
Hello, everybody. It is Junesploitation, day one. So we're kind of honored to be, kicking things off Junesploitation style for
Happy
the
Junesploitation, everyone.
happy Junesploitation. It's gonna be a fun month. As the kids would say, my body is ready. I'm ready this.
I understood the assignment.
She's so crazy for this.
It's a vibe.
Let's let them cook.
No cap.
Oh, he's eating right now.
Uh,
We're so
we're
busy.
hip. We're
We're
young.
in it right now.
We're
We're
in
in
it.
it right now, as
We're in
Zach Braff would say when he's talking to Natalie Portman about Junesploitation.
it. 20 years ago.
Yeah. So we are kicking off Teenager Day with Class of 1999, which was a movie that I was like looking for an excuse to watch, and I kind of always was secretly like wanting to watch it during a Junesploitation for two reasons. One is because Patrick has talked up this movie for a long time, and also I had just recently watched Class of 1984, I think last year during Junesploitation, and it's from the same director, Mark Lester,
Mhm.
who also did a lot of really cool movies like Showdown in Little Tokyo and Fire, the original Firestarter. Yeah, he's one of Patrick's boys. So Class of 1984 was great, and I was super excited to see Class of 1999. This is my first time watching it. I want to get your reaction first, but I just want to start by saying I love that this was a movie that used to be in theaters.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right along the same lines I am. I adored this. I thought this was wonderful.
Yeah.
I thought this was so much fun and I was watching this today and I was thinking to myself, Stan Lee used to say that every Marvel comic is somebody's first Marvel comic, right?
Yeah.
So it was important to give, context and background and make them feel welcome, right? Every Junesploitation is somebody's first Junesploitation.
Mm-hmm.
And Class of 1999 is a wonderful first Junesploitation movie. If there's anything that gives you a good
Yeah.
sort of insight into what Junesploitation is, a good kind of perspective on what kinds of movies we like to celebrate and what kinds of things we like to do during this month of the year, you really can't do much better than this. I had a ton of fun with this movie.
Yeah, I did too. It's from Vestron, and I'm slowly discovering that, like, when they come out with these collector sets of like Vestron video Blu-rays, like the Wishmaster series or Warlock and stuff like that, I'm like, wait a minute, but Vestron was awesome.
Yeah.
This movie also kind of was cool because like Class 1984 had this too. Like you had Perry King, who I'd recognized from Lords of Flatbush,
Mhm.
and he was in like a Tales from the Crypt episode that was kind of like a Psycho homage. But then like young Michael J. Fox is in it and stuff. And in this one, it's nobody as famous, I guess, as Michael J. Fox, but like
No.
you get the lead is Bradley Gregg, who was the marionette kid from Nightmare on Elm Street
Yeah.
3. And he
Yeah.
also, and then that led me down a rabbit hole of checking out his Wikipedia. And I'm like, wait a minute, he was in the opening gang in Indiana Jones and the Last
Yeah.
Crusade. Wait a minute, he was in the gang in Stand By Me. And then it's just like, wow, okay. And then Tracy Lind, who goes by Tracy Lynn in this,
Yeah.
she's from Fright Night Part 2 and My Boyfriend's Back. And she's great. And yeah, you just get like great character actors like Pam Grier and Patrick Kilpatrick, which is one of the craziest names I've ever heard in my entire life.
Malcolm
Um,
McDowell. You've got
Malcolm
Stacy
McDowell.
Keach with a mullet, a rat tail
Yeah, bleach
affair
blonde rat tail mullet.
with eyes. He's got sort of these chromatic eyes. I don't know what he's doing there. Tracy Lynn, by the way, Patrick recommended her last week. Who was very exuberant about her being in this, and she was wonderful. I thought for her limited screen
Yeah,
time, she was a lot of fun in this.
yeah, she's like, what if Fergie was a lot better?
But I mean, she's playing a very standard sort of,
Yeah,
she's the girlfriend in The Outsiders kind of thing, like that kind of
yeah,
role. But she does it with a lot of like aplomb. Like she acquits herself really, really well. She does her best to stand out, and I really, really enjoy her a lot in this.
but yeah, to give you a little bit of backstory, if you don't know what Class of 1999 is, Class of 1984 was like good teachers, horrible kids, and then this one is sort of the inverse of that,
Right.
or almost kind of like a doubling down in the sense that like the kids are bad, but the teachers are also bad. Like there's robot android
Yeah,
Terminator teachers.
it's
It's sort of
this
like the
plus
faculty a little bit too.
faculty plus RoboCop plus Terminator plus yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%.
But so much gunfire, so many explosions, so many robots being broken up. Like pre T2, pretty impressive for like some of the stop motion effects.
And being pre T2, there's an arm gag. Not to spoil it, but there's an arm gag
Yeah, yeah.
that had me thinking like, oh, is that a T2 knockoff? And I looked it up. I was like, oh no, this is before T2. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it even came out like in 1989. It got delayed, until 1990. But yeah, I couldn't say anything better than what you said. Where if you're looking for like an entree into Junesploitation and a movie that will catapult you into wanting to watch a lot
Yes.
more movies like this, that's what this is. It's a shame that we can't watch it like all together, like in a crowd,
Yeah.
because this would be like a great audience movie. But if you have like a few friends or like you want to like show your partner something like kind of crazy. This is pretty accessible and really fun. The only thing I think is not accessible is Joshua Miller scares me. He's just like the creepy kid from Near Dark, but like I feel like he really is that guy. Like he's really like 100 years old in like a 15-year-old's body.
There's good punk casting in this. There's good like
Yeah,
punk ensemble casting is really good. At this point, they've really ironed out what the punk ensemble, like the Lost Boys, they're all like, Rufio, like they
yeah.
all look like exactly the way they're supposed to look. They all obviously have the Warriors look to them, this
Mhm.
dystopian punk kids. But there's an endearing quality to it that I really, really appreciate it. And again, just going back to, the initial point, like this movie is so wonderful. It's setting up its premise. It's got this wonderful B movie premise at the beginning. What if crime was so bad? What if kids were so out of control that, teachers were sort of forced to become automated assassins in order to deal with classroom management issues? I'm a teacher. There's a lot of teachers,
Yeah,
I was watching this very, very much relating to a lot of the issues that were coming up and saying to myself, probably I just rewatched Zodiac and there's that great moment where Mark Ruffalo's character is watching Dirty Harry and going like, "Oh yeah, it must be easy, just blow the guy away, no need for due process, right?" And that's kind of
yeah,
how I felt watching this as a teacher, being like, "Oh yeah, it's easy, just go up and just choke slam the kids and just throw them out windows." It's just really fun and it's really, really indicative of the kind of B movie structure that we celebrate, the exploitation genre movie kind of structure that we celebrate, where they set up this really sort of just simple but really, really intriguing premise. We play with it for a little bit where the teachers are in the rooms and they're kind of, showing what it's like. Pam Grier's got that great scene where she's dealing with this bully who's mouthing off and all that. And then it sort of devolves into action schlock toward the end, and
yeah.
then that's just the perfect structure for the movies that we love, the movies that we celebrate around here at this time of year. So again, it's such a perfect. I was so happy that we are doing this for June 1st because it's just a wonderful entree to June exploitation.
Yeah, definitely. I would highly recommend Class of 1984 also if you haven't seen
100%.
it. It's a little bit of a maybe it's funny because this one has the airs of being hardcore and kind of threatening,
Yeah.
but like it's too fun to really feel that way. But Class of 1984 feels more like Death Sentence or Death Wish, where it's a little bit more kind of gets under your skin, but they're both equally effective in what they're trying to do. I think they would make an interesting double feature with one another because they're similar but different in terms of tone. And Mark Lester obviously is just kind of like upping the ante. This feels like a really good like Albert Pune type movie. It feels like
100%.
a canon movie. It's yeah, it's just delightful. And like after just kind of watching what we've been watching the past few months and everything like that, I'm kind of like I am with Scary Movie Month now, where like if I see something kind of exploitation-ish, I'm just like,
Yes.
oh, I gotta save it for June. I gotta save it for June. And then like it's like opening your presents on Christmas morning.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, no, 100%. This is the kind of movie that I've been in a period where I've been very disillusioned, mostly because I've been watching and reviewing new releases from 2023.
Mm.
And I've been pretty disillusioned with movie watching. I think we all go through that period every now and again.
Yeah.
And watching this today was just like I can't wait to watch movies again. Like I can't wait. Like I'm so excited. So
I watched it on Tubi. Did you watch it on
I
Tubi?
did. Hmm.
That's kind of also the best place to
Best
watch
way to
movies.
watch it is on Tubi. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it
Um,
feels like I'm home. This is
yeah.
where it belongs. Yeah, I'm super pumped for next week. We've got Canon Day, so we're gonna be talking amongst ourselves and deciding what we're gonna pick for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Teenager Day. I mean, like I'm excited about it. Obviously, we're watching this and recording it before June. So on Teenager Day, I know I'm finally gonna watch Sidekicks with Jonathan Brandis and Chuck Norris. It's been sitting on my Amazon watch list for far too long. So I'm finally going to take a dive on that one. Are you going to be watching anything on Teenager Day?
I haven't done a rundown yet. I loved with Junesploitation with Scary Movie Month. I tend to take a little bit more time. With
Mhm.
Junesploitation, I almost always go with stuff that I see recommendations for.
Yeah.
Because June is the end of the school year, and I'm really busy, and so I frequently will sometimes miss some days and catch up on Junesploitation. And so it's always been really nice for me to be able to see, 2, 3 days at a time, check out what people are watching, check out what sounds interesting. So please make sure that you're commenting, hashtagging Junesploitation on whatever social media you're on. Let us know what you're watching because it's definitely come in handy for me specifically because I tend not to make a plan for this month.
Yeah, I'm by no means like an expert this month. I kind of like to go along for the ride and see
Yeah.
what everybody else is watching. But thank you, Patrick, for recommending Class of 1999. I now have another movie to check off from my ad nauseum newspaper
There you go.
book that covers sci-fi and exploitation movies from the 80s and 90s. So, all right, well, thank you for joining us. This was fun. We hope you check this movie out and let us know in the comments what you think of it. I think you'll really enjoy it if you're into exploitation cinema. And also, as you know, we've said over and over, it's a great introduction if you are not sure kind of where to start. So
Yes.
until next time, Rob.
Happy Junesploitation.
Yes,
Seats are reserved.
thank you. We'll see you next week.